Hey Jaya 31, how about an evening yoga practice? I'm going to make an assumption that you already have done your own form of centering. We're going to jump right in, which I've also done, but it's different for everyone. So you can take a moment to just breathe, come into the present moment, and begin your practice. I'd like to start in a really basic way, which is feet hip width apart. Start to bring in some joint rotations with the fingers, hands. We'll just move through these kind of quickly, just to feel into your body, especially if you've already done some other type of practice or fitness today. Shoulder rolls up and back deliberately, kind of bringing them up and back. All right, and as we move into the hips, balance down through the toes of the left foot. Do some good rotations with the right knee. Or opposite, doesn't matter which side you start with. Again, deliberately kind of externally rotating here. Engage in the core, stand up nice and tall. Engage the quads and shake out the foot a little bit. It's no different than shaking out the wrist. Just really have to engage strongly in the leg to do that. The ankles are often not attended to enough. Another way to do a nice ankle stretch is to curl the toes under, bend your standing leg, press down through the back foot and bring the knee a little bit forward isometrically. Get a stretch across the top of the ankle. Let's bring in a nice rhythmic breath. If you're familiar with Ujjayi breath, you can bring that in. I'll talk about pranayama separately. Sorry, that's my kitty. It's more important to just bring in a steady, rhythmic breath. All right, either feet together, strong engagement in the legs, or feet hip width apart, still a strong engagement in the legs. Let's do some full rotations with one arm at a time. Those of you who practice with me often are really familiar with this. Start to really limber up. If you can't do that, great motion, meaning broad, a circle. If you've got something going on with your shoulder, here are the modifications. Just the shoulder itself, or fingertips to the shoulder, rotations back with the elbow to open up the joint. We're not just working the joint, we're working connective tissue all around the ribs. And if you have a strong hold in the legs, and you can use a little momentum, go ahead and swing the arm. Your breathing is rhythmic. And then to whatever degree you can meet the other side, each shoulder might be different, go ahead into some rotations with the opposite shoulder. If you can bring in a little bit of speed and a little bit of momentum, go there. Do just a few more than you think you should. Kind of fatiguing a little bit all around the shoulders. And then I like to bring the arms up and back as well. Like you're tossing a ball behind you. Remember to stay strong in the legs. You're starting to get a feeling of how the ribs are independent of the hips here, so that we can move like as in a twist. Ribs separate from the hips. And then we'll go right into sun salutation. Palms to the heart. Inhale, arms high. Engage back line of the body. Use the arms to open up the chest. So send the weight of the arms back. Find the shoulders. Lift the ribs. Low ribs away from pelvis. Engage legs strongly, glutes. And as you fold, imagine you have a ball in your hands and you're passing it to the ceiling. So all the way down into forward fold. You're lifting the arms up. Come down into your forward fold. Any variation. You could bring hands behind the leg and press. You're just trying to find a nice hinge at the top of the legs. Gaze forward. Go ahead and step your left knee straight back. Watch out for cats. Kneeling lunge, open the heart. You might not be able to keep your hands on the mat. My arms are long and I have a bit of a back bend going here. You may have to put your hands up here if you want to go into a deeper back bend. Getting into the front line of the body. Plank position. Dome the palms. A slight bend in the arms. Breathe. First round, knees, chest, chin. Drop the knees. Chin low, tail high. Slide forward, elbows in. Cobra pose. Press the feet together and down toward the mat. Lift upper body. Breathe. And then transition into upward dog. Put some weight in the arms. Open the heart. Tuck the toes to go into downward dog. Or roll over the toes. Expand across upper back. Heart low. Good. Right foot forward. Kneeling lunge. Open the heart. Breathe. Again, hands can be here. We're going to pick up the pace in a minute, but I always like to start slow. Ribs always lifted everywhere we go. Step the back foot forward, forward fold. Palms together. Tried to scare the kitty away, doesn't work. Back bend. Palms to the heart. All right, let's do sun salutation. Opposite foot, right foot forward and or back and forward. Inhale, arms high. Exhale and fold. Gazing up. Right foot back. Open the heart. Left foot back, plank position. This time, if you have chaturanga in your practice, go for it. Could come onto tippy toes, bend the arms, elbows close to the body to lower down. Go straight to your upward dog. Tuck the toes, downward dog. Right foot forward, kneeling lunge. 1 or 2 steps, whatever it takes. Or 3. Take your time to find your form. This is about how far forward can you step, how far forward can you bring your hips, and open the heart to get the whole front line of the body open. Keeping the ribs lifted, even as we step, helps us to hinge in our forward fold. Palms together, rise. Palms to the heart. Okay. Take a moment to step your feet a little bit wider apart. Maybe mat width, toes turned out. We're going to hinge down. We're going to come down like we're coming into a crouch. Belly and chest between the thighs if possible. Bring the arms around behind the legs. Forearms pressing to the back of the knees. Maybe the fingertips come through. You're using your arm to kind of lock you in. It's an assist. Straighten the legs as much as you can. If you can touch your fingertips to your head, do that. If you can, scramble the fingers behind the head. Breathe. Five breaths here. If you can't touch your fingers to your head, just stay as deep as you can. 2, release. Fan the arms out to the sides and rise. Little baby back bend. Palms to the heart. Just a tiny baby back bend. Feet together. All right. Inhale, arms high. Exhale and fold. Gaze up. Right leg back. Kapiasana. It's a crescent lunge. So we're kneeling, but we're in the legs. Press down and forward through front leg, press down through the top of the back leg. Baby back bend or a deep back bend, breathe. Press forward through the front foot to bring hips back. Align back hip over your knee. Float your front foot back so that your heel is right beneath your knee. Bring the heart low. Hand to the inside of the foot. Press knee to shoulder, shoulder to knee. Sukha Trikonasana, reach high with the opposite arm. Keep hollowing the belly out from the inside out on the exhale to twist through the ribs. This is a baby triangle pose. It sets you up for good form. If you want to come into full triangle, curl back toes under, lift the back knee, drop the heel right away, straighten the front leg, let your hand ride up the leg as high as it needs to, and then drop into your full depth. Fingers do not have to touch the floor. If you're here, look down at the floor for balance to come back down into your little box. Back hip over your knee, front knee over your ankle. Let's bring the heart low again. Reach forward, right arm. Turn so that the belly and inner thigh meet. Elbow to the outer knee if you can get there, or on the knee, or in front of the knee. Because you can always press the knee against that elbow, even if you can't get the elbow to the outer knee. That's just a deeper variation. Pressing upper hand into lower to twist. But if you can get the heart low, elbow to the outer knee, close the gap between your underarm and your knee, palms together, and breathe. Imagine that you're turning to lay on your back. To go into the full pose, straighten the arms, and, don't straighten the arms, lift the back knee and breathe. Squeeze your thigh. To come out of the pose, drop your knee. Let's bring the hands down. Since you're in a box here, with your back hip over your back knee, we're not in a deep lunge. In those Sukha Trikonasana and the twist, we're back here. So since we're here, plant the heel of your hand just beyond your toes. And then we'll be set up for a chaturanga from this little box. I'm a little bit frightened that I might get bit in the face. Step your front foot back, chaturanga down, press forward and up. Down dog. Good, right foot forward, Kapyasana. Unfold the back foot, find the legs. Remember when we were tossing the ball earlier? That's a great way to enter into Kapyasana. 5 breaths to 10. Press into the front foot to bring the hips back, arms down. Float that front foot back, you're coming back into that little box. Heart low, like you're trying to look at something on the mat close up. So you can plant your hand to your inner foot. Shoulder to knee, knee to shoulder, rotate. Don't forget to feel what's happening from the inside out. Hollow out the belly on the exhale. Twist a little more deeply, breathe. Your back toes are still curled under, left toes. You could lean into that front leg to lift back knee, plant the heel. Keep that pressure, arm against the knee, as you straighten the leg. Come all the way up. Trikonasana. You're still twisting here. You might shift your gaze down to the mat for balance. Lift back heel, drop the knee. We're nice and low. Bring your belly to your inner thigh. Feel free to use this free hand to help you kind of nest your way deeper into this pose. Close this gap. Instead of being up like this, how low can you get? Underarm toward your knee, palms together and twist. You should feel like you're laying on your back over time eventually. Very purifying. Shift your gaze if needed for balance, and then come back. Lift the back knee, squeeze your thigh. Gaze at the floor. Drop your knee, hands to the mat, shoulder width apart, just beyond your foot. Chaturanga if that's in your practice. Or go from plank to knees, chest, chin, upward dog, downward dog. Engage your core when you come to downward dog. Left foot forward. Warrior one, deep step. Watch the back heel. Pivot, get it on the floor. You're already low in your lunge. Stay low in the lunge. Power through front leg to rise. Not a back bend. Your torso is pretty much straight. Hips straight. If you can't get your hips straight, if they're turned like this, pull the outer edge of your back foot up, but keep your big toe and heel on the floor. And lunge deeper. Hips as straight as you can, shoulders as straight as you can without strain. Palms above the crown. Gaze forward or up. If you're pretty deep in your warrior one, you just shift to warrior two by turning to your right, and then gaze at your forward hand. If you're not that deep in your warrior one because of your hips still needing to open, separate the feet a little, go a little deeper in warrior two. Take a reverse angle. Drop your back hand on your back leg. Front arm comes up alongside your ear. Keep holding from the side. It's a side bend over the back leg, right? 5 breaths. And we'll windmill from here right to angled pose. So you bring your left arm, not a lot of weight on it, but notice how it kicks your thigh open, forearm to your thigh, opposite arm alongside the ear. To deepen this pose, your lunge deepens, your elbow might naturally come in front of the knee, maybe the hand to the mat, maybe we lean forward. Rotate front arm underneath your thigh, bring the hand behind your thigh, opposite hand comes around to clasp fingers, you're in a bind, a good bind, and then come all the way down onto your back knee. So as we transition to lizard here, notice I moved my foot out a couple of inches. If I don't, when I come lower, I'm going to always feel like I'm falling to the right. Foot comes out to the side, heart lifted, slowly come down. So you might be here in your lizard. It's your deepest lunge with your front ankle underneath your knee. You want your knee to slowly come closer to the body. It may wing out a little with a tight hip at first. Over time, heart lifted. Lower, 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 lower. Elbow opposite the forward leg comes down first, and then the other hand. If you have both elbows on the floor over time, you can start to bring the chin toward the floor. You could do a couple of things. You could bring the hands wider and lower down. You could come onto the forearms. A different time we'll talk about arm balances from here. You could start to work your shoulder underneath and do chaturanga arms and go into an arm balance. For now, work on this stretch. If you have the arm balance, take it. From our deepest lunge, our chaturanga is to bring the fingertips back toward the heel. We're not bringing our fingers up so that they're lined up with our foot. That's more like a plank. We want to be able to make that shelf with the back of the arms. That means we want to be able to actually pitch the heart low. You could practice that from here. You could do little push-ups. And then tuck your back toes under, lift your knee, step your front foot back, and you're in chaturanga. All the way through to upward dog. Downward dog. Left foot forward, warrior one. Heart low, hips low. Find your alignment. Work it out on your own. Figure it out. Breathe through it, what works in the body, what doesn't. 5 breaths. Warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Angle pose. Reverse warrior. 2, your angle. Any variation. You don't have to do the bind. All this is actually a self-assist to go deeper. Lift the back heel. Scoot your right foot off to the right a couple of inches so your hands can be shoulder width apart. Rock to and fro if you need a little extra warm up. This is a very intense stretch. Sometimes people hate this one. It's just really going into the quads and hamstrings, hip flexors, psoas, that connects the spine to the legs. It's meant to be intense. See if you can witness. Hang out with sensation. You might be way up here. You may need to use blocks. You may advance. If you did this practice for 30 days, even just this half hour, be interesting to watch yourself over time. Could you get an elbow on the ground? Could you get another elbow on the ground? When you come out of the pose, either a plank or a chaturanga. Remember chaturanga, you're really set up well for it. Fingertips by your heel, lower the heart, you've got that shelf. Elbows are in, almost supporting the body. Tuck your back toes, lift the knee, and then just step that foot back. Remember those hip rotations we did in the beginning? Really good to help with those transitions. Down dog. Walk or hop feet to the front of the mat. Forward fold. Palms together. Back bend. Palms to the heart. Breathe. Okay, so that was 23 minutes. And we're going to go through that whole sequence, optional, one more time, quickly, if I remember all the moves. We do this, some variation of this almost every all levels class that I teach. Well, not everyone, but a lot. Mixing it up a little bit. So this might be super familiar to you if you practice with me. Inhale, arms high. Exhale and fold. Gaze up. Right foot back, Upyasana. That's that kneeling crescent lunge, nice deep lunge. Press into the front foot, bring the hips back. Float the front foot back, you're making a box. Hip over knee, knee over ankle. Sukha Trikonasana, hands in the inner foot, knee against shoulder, shoulder to knee. It's like your best buddies who are trying to nudge each other out of the way. The more you press knee to shoulder, shoulder to knee, the more you can hollow out the belly and twist. Full triangle, lift the back knee, drop your heel, straighten the front leg, find your depth. Second time around, you might be a little deeper. Shift your gaze down, lift your back heel, drop down, your heart is already low. Parivrtta Parsvakonasana. Elbow to the outside, on top of or inside of the knee. Palms together and twist. From the side. This looks like this. You keep your hands close to your heart, not way out here. To go into the full pose, lift the back knee, squeeze the leg. Today we're going to drop the knee, heel and the hand to the in front of the toes. Remember, we're not in a deep lunge, we're making a box. Chaturanga. Upward dog, downward dog, good yoga kitty. Right foot forward, Kapyasana. Press into the front foot to bring the hips back. Foot right beneath the knee, Sukha Trikonasana. Short hold. Go ahead and lift the back knee, drop the heel, straighten the front leg. Still pressure, arm against leg to help you rotate upper shoulder back, body between two panes of glass. Shift your gaze, lift your back heel, come into Parivrtta Parsvakonasana. Full expression of the pose, lift the back knee, breathe. Drop the back knee. Chaturanga, heel in the hand to the toes. Or plank, knees, chest, chin, modify. Down dog. Left foot forward, warrior one. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. Angle pose. Drop a little deeper, take the bind if you have the bind. Wherever you are, lizard pose. Scoot your foot out to the edge, maybe 1 or 2 inches, rock. Come right into your depth. Before you have a chance to brace against it. This time, because we're in our deepest lunge, if you're going to chaturanga rather than plank, fingertips somewhere near the heel. Step back. Upward dog, downward dog, and breathe. Right foot forward, warrior one. 1 or 2 steps, or 3 even. Square off hips and shoulders best you can, honoring the hips if they're tight. Warrior two, you may have to separate the feet. Reverse warrior, angle pose. Any variation. If you have the forearm on the thigh, press the knee open. Opposite arm, long bone of the upper arm comes alongside the ear. Lift your back heel, come down to lizard. Settle in, lift the heart, drop down. Your choice. You can even come right to down dog from here. Otherwise, chaturanga, or come to plank. Drop your knees, chest and chin to come through. Up dog and come to down dog. Hop the feet or walk them to the front of the mat and rise. Palms to the heart. Breathe. There you are, 29 minutes. You did it in 6 minutes. All right. Let's come down. Cross our legs, close our eyes. Imagine that you only had a half an hour to do a practice. You could do that one. Simple joint rotations. Use sun salutation as a warm-up. If you don't have time for Shavasana, for instance, you got to shower and go to work, just close your eyes. You should have a good sweat going. Relax and breathe. Focus on the third eye, center of the forehead just above brow line. Try to quiet your mind for 1 inhale. One exhale. Become the observer, witness. And then really honoring yourself, a great place to come back to your intention here for your practice. And if you have time for a Shavasana, come down onto your back, close your eyes, relax. You may take a full or single knee down twist. You can add anything to this practice that comes natural for you. I'll give other examples of half-hour practices that you can add to throughout the weeks. Otherwise, palms, if you choose, over the heart, Anjali Mudra. Inwardly honoring yourself. Know that as we honor ourselves, we honor one another and all of our relations. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. Blessings. Okay. Pranayama video to follow separately.